Hello everyone, welcome to Joe and Zach's Survival. Well, I've been making a lot of syrup, or I've been boiling a lot of sap I should say. I've got quite a bit of syrup made now, and I don't need that much more syrup, so now I'm taking it to a kind of another level, and I'm going to try to make sugar out of it. I've done syrup lots of times, but I've never done the syruping into sugar. So it's not that hard of a process, it's fairly easy, and in the beginning they made sugar before they made the syrup. I mean, they would get to taste the syrup as it was boiling down for sugar, but the Native Americans and the Pilgrims and stuff like that, they didn't have things that could carry syrup in it, so they would reduce it down to sugar so they could store it and then travel with it without it, getting bad or anything breaking or anything. So anyway, I wanted to give this a try, and we're going to have to heat this stuff up to 260 degrees instead of the 219. But I've got it boiling outside here, I've got some boiling in the house, and I mean, I've just been boiling everywhere lately. But anyway, let's go through this and see if we can make sugar. Normally when you make syrup or sugar, you use a shallow pan, but I've been using every pan I've got to do the boiling. And I just keep about 6 inches in here. It boils real well. If you were to fill this up, you'd never get it to boil. So you just keep a smaller amount in the bottom, and as it boils down, you just keep adding to it and adding to it. Alright, well, we're continuing on our quest to make syrup sugar here. This is the very last bit I put in here of 13 gallons of sap, so it's been going all day long since this morning. And now we're just going to boil it down and eventually put a thermometer in there and get it up to 260 degrees. Okay, well, now it's middle of the next day here, and I'm above the temperature that it would have been to make syrup, and we're still on our way up to hitting between 257 and 262, so I'm trying for 260. Alright, so we're getting real close now, and what we're going to do after this, once it hits 260, I'm going to be dumping this into a bowl, and then we're going to start to mix it with a mixer. So I'm going to come back after I've got it in the bowl, because it's going to be kind of hot to change this out, but that's the next step. Now when we start to mix this, of course, I'll be mixing. I won't be able to talk over the mixer, and we'll start mixing it. It'll be this darker color, then it'll start to lighten up a little bit, then it should turn into like a clumpy type of formation, and then right before it gets to the final phase, there should be like a burst when the water vaporizes from here, causing a bunch of steam, and then you just mix it until the steam stops, and then it's done. So I don't know, we'll see what happens. Well, so far I would say that was a complete fail. It burnt out the motor in the mixer. That doesn't work anymore. And I'm mixing it by hand now, but it should have crystallized by now, and it hasn't. So I have a very high energy candy. I'm going to keep mixing it for a while and see if it starts to crystallize, but it is really thick now. I mean, look at that. Just pick the bowl right up. So anyway, I think that might be a fail at maple sugaring. Okay everyone, well, it was definitely a horrible fail for doing maple sugar, but I'm making these into little round balls to be like candy, a real high energy food, and I'm going to get these frozen and bagged and put in the freezer, so it's not lost, but it's just kind of depressing that it didn't work. So if anybody has any tips on how to make sugar the right way, I'm really interested in that, because that's something that a person could really use. And it'd be really hard to get, if you don't know how to do this. You could make enough to last you a whole year. So anyway, I look forward to your comments. Thanks a lot for watching the Joe and Zach Survival Channel. Alright everyone, well, that's what we ended up with right there. They're all frozen now. They're really good. There would have been a bunch more, but Sarah and myself and Sarah's boyfriend Chad all were pretty much eating out of the bowl. So anyway, totally failed at making maple sugar. Made a nice maple candy. And remember, if anybody has any advice on making the sugar, please let me know. I don't care if you're watching this 2 years from now. Please let me know what you know.